Previously on Common Sense for Relationships.
When tough times come, how do you deal with them?
Because it means then that your money is no longer your money.
So it wasn't about what he has in his pocket, it was about potential, right?
So he was in trouble, but the family was in trouble.
Are we going to say the man is the breadwinner and the woman should be someone that should be taken care of?
What do you do when the roles are reversed? So I went to do research. Okay, so as a man, what's my role? I say provide for the family. One. What's my other role? I have to think very hard. Because I know provide for the family is very
Generic.
It's very generic. So when I couldn't come up with a number of things, and I said, okay, what's the role of the woman? So she supports the home, she takes care of the children, she does this. I was able to write a number of things that the woman does. So it became very simple.
Just do that.
You see, when the roles are reversed, if this is the only one I knew for a man, and this is all the one that the woman does, okay, so let's just flip it. Now let me do all the one that she does, while she's doing the one that the man does. Do you understand?
So are you trying to say during the period you are taking kids to school?
I was taking kids to school,
doing homework
I
with
was
them?
washing plates. Yes, I was washing plates. I was changing.
Did you
diapers.
feel less of a man?
Oh, that's why I say there has to be a re-education. I keep using that word. I keep using that word, re-education. It taught me so much about the concept of manhood. In fact, when the thing was going to mess up my mind, I got to a place where I began to be educated by divine inspiration. And I understood
By the books.
Understood by the books what that scripture says, and that God created a garden and gave it to Adam to tend and to keep. Those two words made perfect sense, because at that point I learned how to tend the home. I learned how to keep the home. I learned how to balance. I used to be a spendthrift. But in that period, I knew I was Father Christmas. Yes. But when there was no Christmas anymore, I had to become father.
So you also started budgeting.
I started budgeting, my brother. So my role, so these are things that I said, it's woman that used to do it. But I didn't know how to budget. I learned it from my wife. She used to do Excel. I learned Excel. Do you understand? So
the job was not coming.
As a job, and it's not as if I was not. This is in addition to the search, because I was writing CV, doing interviews, and this. But in addition to that one, I came back and I said, okay, if I am not making any money, and if I'm not adding any money, I will use the skills that I have to save the family money.
Yeah.
So I used to know how to go market. When I go to market, I gist with everybody. So
I get the best prices.
I get the best prices. So when we budget the small money that we have, I will take it to the market, and I must come back with change. So I don't know why some of my staff now, they are wondering when I give somebody money and they go to market and they go to go and buy things or procure things, and they will not bring back change. I'm not doing that.
But you know what is really important again is see, we cannot negate the concept of faith in so many things of our lives. Because you see, even though you were being re-educated, your identity was not in question.
The identity.
Yes.
That would be very key.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm a man, but I needed to understand my place. I needed to understand who this guy is.
It's not just about physical.
And you knew who to go to.
I knew who to go to because my earthly father pointed the way. And say guy.
Drop the phone.
And he pointed the way and dropped the phone. He said that's the direction to go. And then he dropped the phone. So as I started on the direction, I had to ask the Heavenly Father to say, okay, this is the direction that they pointed to me. So
can you help us?
Can you help us?
Can you help us? So it's back to what it is about. Number one, what was in place? What are your financial when is the financial downturn? What was happening before? You know, truthfully, a lot of us are really not very prudent financially. You know, truthfully, and sometimes it takes trouble. At least you even had a good structure in place, even though you still had to tweak it. So what causes problems most of the time is that in some of those homes, maybe the man is the breadwinner, and sometimes only winner, meaning that income is not coming in from anywhere else. That's number one. That's another thing. So those ones is really bad. Then there's some cases where the woman becomes the breadwinner also, but there were no financial structure in place before. Maybe it was everybody spend. So of course, when there was trouble, they didn't know to come together to say, how do we solve this problem?
So the boss, at that point, the
boss has
shifts.
shifted. Number two, the concept of the purpose of marriage again. We're a team. I remember Oguche said to me, you know, when we had our own financial downturn, even before then, he used to say, you know, we're a team, we're in this together. So it's not, of course, there are times you'll be upset, there are times you'll be angry, there are times you'll be like, what is this now? There are times, but in the end, what was the thing running behind your head is that we're in this together and we have to get out of it together. And that's why scripture says two are better than one. If one falls, the other will lift him up. And so there's no death.
Not kick him for
that. Not kicking for that down.
Don't kick him down. But you know, it's also intricate. No matter what kind of person were you when you had money?
How are you treating her?
How are you treating her when you had money? Were you also the kind of person that made her feel? And so when she had money, she said,
I'm going to do it.
So it's a lot of, it's very interconnected. What kind of financial structure did you have in place? Did you guys understand the concept of we're together, the two are one? What kind of person was the person when the person had money, you know? And then also, but you know, I see that whenever we have this kind of downturns, it's an opportunity to re-strategize.
Yes.
It's an opportunity to come back to for us. I think what happened for us was that before then I'd worked, but you know, my contribution was not, you know, obviously in any way compared to what his contribution. In that downturn, I didn't know I could make as much money that I started making. So something in me now switched because it just came to me. I said, when push comes to shove, you know, you have to make it happen. Children need to go to school. You need to sort things out. So shall I honestly, it became the beginning of a coaching practice that I never thought that I would be able to make income from. I found out that I actually had network and resources that I never thought I could gain from. It changed my whole concept of the ability to actually make money. And I think I made up my mind. Having a good support system also helps. I had a very healthy support system. And I think I just, you know, I think there was a time when that, and which is why faith is so important. I remember one time, I always share the story when I was praying. I was asking God, when is this thing going to shift? And as I knelt down to pray, I just heard the vision is for an appointed time. I just got up. There's no need for prayer again. They say the vision is for an appointed time. That means it's not yet time. Because if it's time, say, arise, my child. This is now. You will arise and have mercy on Zion. For the time to favor Zion has come. This one was not time to favor. He said, I said, oh. What is this about? It means you have to wait. So another thing is also learning to have joy in the midst of the storm.
Very key.
Celebrate the
so because sometimes
celebrate grace.
Learn how to abase and to abound.
Sometimes you have to abase. This is what we have, and it's okay. We can't afford this, and it's okay.
It's okay not to be able to afford.
Sorry, you know what? I was just, in fact, funny enough, just today, I was just thinking about. I went to drop her somewhere, and while I was dropping her, we just had fun driving and coming back, and I was wondering that. You do even need a second car, right? And there was a couple who were counseling one time and they said something about, whether second car or sleeping in different rooms. And I said, sometimes you even need that frugality. You know, you are in your spaces. You know, you are in one room, you are, you know, have one car, you guys are talking together. Sometimes you just need that, you know, frugality so that you guys, because sometimes when house is too big, you know, two different, like people are living parallel, like close the door. That's good. But sometimes you're living parallel, like you are any quiet, and so everybody's doing their own thing. Sometimes this brings you together, it brings you closer. Actually,
when there's small space. If you get angry, you enter your room and bang the door. That person too get angry. You enter the same room and bang the door. You have to sort it out.
So you will bang the door to each other. And so did I
So I think times of distress or downturn is time, like you said, to strategize, to know each other more, to build stronger foundations,
to see what's really important.
to realize that you're a team.
And trouble exposes what really is what you have. Yeah. And so if trouble comes and it completely destroys you, know that scripture that says that if your faith fails in the day, if your strength fails in the day of adversity, your strength is small.
Yes.
And so really, trouble gives you an opportunity to say, well, okay, what can we adjust in our marriage? What can we adjust now? And then it begins to bring up things. Did you get married just for the money? What kind of person were you when you got married? Do you realize that you're a team? What it is that we can do together?
What skills do you have?
What skills do you have? But you know what I say to people, and now what I've realized, and I say to people now, I said everyone must add value in one way or the other.
Whether you are bringing money, I always look at it from business point of view, whether you are bringing revenue or you are saving costs. Like you are the market.
Yes.
That was my own contribution. I had to save costs, so that's my own value at that time.
Yes.
You know.
So and I think so. You see that there's really not one straight. I think the more we talk, and I just realized that, you know, if you don't understand fully what marriage is really about, at the slight sense of trouble, you're just gonna run.
You're just gonna jump ship.
You're just like, no, this is not what I bargained for. This is not what.
It's really interesting because when if you want to do the comparisons, when he was in the bank, he was too busy to handle anything major in the house. So all the tech setup I would handle, buy the generator. That was the worst. I would handle, and of course, right under my nose, one guy would come and change our new parts inside and bring old parts, but the casing was still, you know, and
he was working, so
he was working, so he couldn't really be there, you know. But then, eventually, by the time this was going on, I was getting more and more engaged at the office, and he handled everything, including what you would have said is the woman's role in quotes. So if we're going to the hospital, he's the one that tells the doctor everything. You know, he would say, this is the first child that started coughing, and then the next child, and this is how it started, and then it became this. You know, he had all the information.
Sorry, let me finish this. How did you feel? Did you feel I'm less of a mother, I'm less of a woman?
No, because I always had it's a team. We're doing it together, you know. So the same way I could very easily do his gen stuff and, you know, just do those things without coming back to make him feel.
Wait, who gave us these roles in the first place?
Exactly. You give the name on the head. Who gave those roles?
Because I remember when we first got married, and then you know he would because you just scared us at that time. And then, you know, I'll call him and say, the gen, something's wrong with the gen. He said, okay, you call the electrician 1 hour at a time. Have you called the electrician? No, sometimes he's at work, and Oguche doesn't multitask well. You know, if it's
I was doing some credit applications.
Oh, no, if you do only one thing, we will do till the end, though. Pick another thing, though. So that's how I used to get so upset. This is not what men do. Men fix the generators. Men do this. Men do this. And one day he said to me, Shola, when you do these things, well, you will get it done faster than I do. So just do it. And just support him. And I said, then give me the ATM. Life is good. You give me the ATM. I saw the gem. It's very simple. But what it came was that, yes, all the things. And so for a long time, even till now, it doesn't have a plumber's number. It doesn't have an electrician's number. It doesn't have a... What number do you have? There's no number. Really. Nobody's number. And then because what happens is that he's also personality. So Oguche calls one person, says I'm coming, Oguche leaves the person. Me, if I call you,
because I believe that if I call you, you should have enough decency to come.
Can you imagine this? Can you see
I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, if I call you and I say to you where and you say you're coming, 30 minutes later, I will call you, ask you how many more minutes you have to take here. Then 30 minutes later, I would call you, but his temperament couldn't take that. And so that was how it was. And I found out that things were getting done faster. Until of course we got staff that now, you know, could take over that, and I didn't have to do that. So again, I think we need to redefine roles. Even with the kids, I found out that he was more patient in sourcing information when they were younger. I just had zero tolerance sometimes. Sometimes I just say, done. And then he will now say, no. What is, no, we still call him the philosopher. So what is wrong with you? So why did you do that? What did you think was going on? What is going on here? What is going on here? And I remember I would be so tired. And then, you know, for me, rest, like I said earlier, is absolute quiet and nothing. So
Oh, you have a do nothing box.
yes, I have to do it. And that's what makes me. That's where I get energy from. Because I throw in. Because everything I do is such energy. I need a day where I do nothing. I do nothing. Even that when I'm doing even prayer. We're talking. This is how we're doing. Nothing serious. I just want to read a book. I just want quiet, and I don't want anybody talking to me. So for me, when we were younger, he would take the way our kids were younger. He would take the kids out. What was customary a woman's role? He would take the kids out, that I would be at home and I would wave them bye. I would put on the AC, get a book, and so once again we need to define where did we get these rules from? Yeah. Because if something happens, then we can, like you said, we're a team. Yeah. So something has happened to a member of our team. We're playing football. Then we bring the reserve, or we apply another skill.
If you are not reserve,
Yes.
If you're a good reserve,
like Arsenal
is a reserve. The whole team is a reserve. The whole team is a backup. So let's just not go there.
So I think it's a lot of foundational things. What structure did you have in place together? Did you understand marriage? Who defined the roles in the first place?
And they're not being shy to communicate about finances.
Exactly.
That's another thing. That not being shy. The truth is, and I have to be honest to guys out there. It's a difficult conversation to have when
Very difficult.
When you, the guy, have lost the bread. As per breadwinner, you have lost the bread. The bread is not. It's a difficult conversation to have, and so for guys, you need to understand it's difficult, but the conversation needs to be had on a consistent basis so that you can establish communication. For women also, you also have to understand that guys find it difficult to have the conversation. So like Oguche said, it's a team. When the guy is down, you have to lend the hand to bring him up. Don't kick him down further, because it's difficult. We because sometimes, yes, I need to stress that, because sometimes she will come and say, I want to ask you a difficult question. At that point in time, I enter defense mode. As in, by default, you just enter defense mode. As in default formation, as in just 5 defenders, 3 midfielders, 2 attackers, just defense. But then she brings this out, and that's why I said in that period I also had to learn to say this.
She's not attacking you.
Yes, we are in this together. So she's not trying to attack me, but she's also trying to ensure that she doesn't enable me to be useless.
It's a fine balance.
And you have to be a bit more sensitive in the way you spoke.
Of course, because I
men have egos.
They are dealing with plenty things.
You just have to know these things. You can't just enter marriage like that and be clueless about how sensitive guys are. Their ego, their emotions, their everything. You understand? And in addition to that, he is my friend. You understand? So I had to.
That's the foundation.
What am I going to? I don't want to hurt this guy. I need to be careful. I know this is a difficult time for him. So I had to become like mother hen to some extent. So for instance, at first when you're starting to have maybe you're trying to check, is there a job offer somewhere here, somewhere there, and then I now notice that it looks like even asking these questions might make some people start to look at him a certain way. So I said, I'm not even going to do that anymore. We'll find a different. I'm not going to talk to people directly to say, oh, my husband is looking for a job. So that one stopped. Another thing that I stopped doing, you go out with friends, and you know how everybody does. You just come in, and then they're like, oh, so this is this one. Oh yeah, so which company are you with? I'm with this. How are your husband? Is he with us, or is he with and everybody's exchanging. I'm here, I'm there, I'm there. You don't want your husband to be the only one in the room who says,
who is not there.
Exactly.
Everybody is
between jobs,
that's okay. As the first handout.
And the second handout between jobs. How far between are you now?
So I had to step back from that. Say, you know what? We don't need to go to all these places right now. And then we'll come and sit down and think, okay, we've applied here. So there was a part where I had to keep encouraging. every time he was going for another interview, I'd tell him it's fine, you're going to get it, da, da, da. And sometimes he goes, and after we have been believing that he's going to get it, he comes back and he doesn't get it, and I'm like, okay, so don't worry, there'll be another opportunity. So encourage. And then sometimes re-strategize. While the job is not coming, what else can we do? I know you can do this, I know you have that skill, I know you can do this. So help the person think through the process.
In that period, he started a makeup business.
That makeup business, which could have been seen as what's that?
Yeah.
You know, he even started a sand business, which is you know, so was it sand or stone?
Sand.
You know, so
Sand,
I mean,
and then stone.
yeah. So
Remains for art block.
so I had to make sure that while he's going through that, I don't make him I don't make him feel. I don't treat him any less. I don't say, okay, now that you are not any money, we'll just serve the food in a plate like that. No, it still has to come on a tray, and it
Treat him like a king. You also treat him like a king.
We still had to do that, you know, just to make sure
Did
that.
it affect any other thing, intimacy and all
No,
of that?
it didn't. It didn't, because I think friendship really went a long way for us, right? It didn't, and he also had an open mind, thanks to his father's guidance, you know, and the fact that this is why it's good to not be married. When you marry, in my case, I wasn't just looking for a good guy, a nice guy, someone has my stuff like that. I needed someone. I needed somebody who knows how to pray, who knows how to call for help when it is necessary, not just for himself but for me. Because it could be anything. It could be you're in a desperate situation, you need help, you can't help yourself. It's your husband that stands in the gap for you. For instance, it could be anything. You know, you're sick. The doctor say I can't do anything more. Can he pray and ask God to intervene and save my wife? Do you understand? So those are some things. So now that he's needing help, there's the part where I can only do so much. Yeah. But it is wonderful when you know that this person can go and talk to his father in heaven.
So you were praying for him.
And he was praying for himself. So he was in a place also where he knew, which is why you can't take away the element of faith, and you can't take away the element of the foundation. Yeah. The scripture says the foundation is wrongly laid. What can the righteous do? And I think that's why a lot of people are struggling when they're downturns. The foundation is very faulty. The foundation hasn't been, it's not deep, it's not strong, it hasn't been created to weather the storm. Yeah. And so when the storms come, the first thing you want to do is run away. When storms come, there are different reactions. First of all is, of course, you're upset. After that, again, is I said you're denial. Another time is another thing you're not even doing again. After that, but everyone, after a while, you must come and say, whose am I? You know, what is God's big plan for my life? And so I think it would be right to say that we cannot eliminate the subject of faith, the subject of the foundation of the relationship in the first place, the subject of the purpose of marriage in the first place, and just even friendship, you know, just knowing fully well that this is a journey, you know, it's just part of the journey. So when it comes to, you know, who is the boss, you know, or it has all of those elements. If this was
you know, something like ask, why do we even have to have a boss?
Yeah, right. You
understand? You just know. Yes, in any ship, in any setting, in any institution, organization, you always need to have someone at the helm. Yeah. Right. And then the other people, it doesn't mean the other people are less.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So when you're able to realize that there's a need for order, you won't be struggling for, I am the one that has money now, so I have to be the one making the decision.
I don't even know. I don't really know why anybody wants to be the man.
Things change.
Why does anybody want to be the man? I mean, do you want to? I'm not interested. Their whatever is plenty. The load they carry is a lot. Unless they're oblivious to what it takes to be the head of a home. Yeah. I'm not sure they say, oh, maybe just when people say, oh, when you could come back to the world again, would you be a man? I say no. No matter how many times they ask me, I'm not trying to come as you people. You people stay where you are. When God comes and knocks, hey, but to raise home, they are home. They think we're asking for you people. And they say we'll be sipping tea. Are you drinking? We are drinking tea. No, because I think that people underestimate the work that it takes to lead a home. I think also because they do not even know. And so because they think about it, just think, oh, I'm the head of the home. And we think leadership is servanthood.
Yes.
We think leadership is to dominate. And forget that leadership is servanthood. And that now begins to complicate.
And then think that leadership is just about bringing money, and because I bring more money than the
final say thing. You know, that's the other thing about the final say.
That's nice.
You know,
I've said it.
and you lose so much when you are trying to say, it's me, I decide. Because you haven't found out what those other people know. You haven't leveraged their perspective, their experience, their insight, their all of that can help you arrive at a position that is good. That is yes, for everybody. That exactly.
Because all of
that
us are
works
blindsided.
well.
Yes.
So that collaboration needs to happen.
It needs to happen. And if you look at it really, if both of you are a team, it doesn't matter whose idea is in front. What's important is what's best for this family. Because so even if you say, okay, today I take the boss and I give you the boss, because we are a team, whatever she will decide is what we will decide. And if she takes it as, okay, today I don't want to be the boss, that this assuming that we are changing bosses, and she puts the boss on my head, she knows that whatever I will decide is what is best for the family. So like you see, if we answer this critical question that you have highlighted, to know that we understand what is involved in this job that we are doing, in this marriage that we all want to get into, that if we understand that, it won't matter who's the boss.
Yeah, and these are some of the things people should be looking out for before they even get married. Before you say I do to somebody, check how you're making simple decisions. Check how the concept that you are working with in your relationship. Because you start seeing it. You start when somebody says we are going out, we are going to so and so place, full stop, this is the time, meet me there.
Red flag right there.
Nothing like, are you available? Do you like this place? You know, and stuff like that. That's what people usually think, how can I know when? You know, they feel like it's only when you're married that you will be able to find out stuff. But the fact is that there are so many, you can infer,
I always say that I don't think there's anything that should completely shock you in marriage. I don't say should completely shock you, no. Completely shock you, I'm like, no, I don't
this was a dating period. So do you recommend a minimum time for dating?
I don't think it's about minimum or maximum. It's about, like an instance, what are you looking out for when you are dating? What are the factors that you're looking out for? What are the key things you are looking out for? Because sometimes people are together for so long, but they're not deliberate and intentional about what they're looking out for.
Thank you.
So I don't usually say timing short or long, but I don't think you're not saying what exactly is it, are you looking out for? What is it that is important to me? What are the deal breakers? And that those are things that are now, really important as you begin to go into the concept of a relationship, what it entails, and the way forward.
So something that helps me with that concept is you want to buy. Sometimes we make marriage seem so complex. It's a decision. The choice of who to marry is a decision. Same way you say, okay, I have checked, I know enough about this thing. Yes, this is the good one. I'm going to buy this product. Check. So you need enough time to know if you have found what you're looking for. You need enough time to know if it's safe. It's just like crossing the road. You won't just say, okay, how much time do I need to look for crossing the road? Check and check. When you have confirmed that there's no car that's going to hit you, then you can cross the road. So you need enough time to know.
If I'm going to round it up, I would say before you say I do, you need to check how you are doing and how he's doing, and then how both of you will do before you say I do.
On that
note, we are doing
well,
and we have done the program.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. So this has been another really interesting discourse. We've talked about this subject, and I know that you have gained 1 thing, 2 things, 5 things, 1 million things. Just leave a comment if you've gotten value, and please share with other people that you know this will be of value to. If you haven't subscribed, this is a very, very excellent time to do so, and also like this video, so that we love it when we get that feedback from you. And I would just really like to say thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
As good as. And say kudos for all the work you're doing with the Institute, and thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you, my dear husband.
from the time you have to go to the market.
Yes.
And you still go.
Well, we have somebody that does
that. That is.
And it also shows you there's a time and a season.
There's a time. Yes. It was for a season.
It was for a season.
And if for any reason we get back, you know how to do it. yeah. So yes.
And thank you guys for having us, and this is awesome. And thank you for all you do.
We're enjoying it.
Thank God for that. Okay, guys. So remember, common sense is not so common. So don't take it for granted. This is good stuff. Bye.
Bye.
Now, how was that? If you liked it, this is a good time for you to click like. And if you didn't really like it, but then you learned something, and you know someone who can also gain from, the things we talked about here, please share. It's a good time to share. Share on Twitter, share on Facebook, share on your WhatsApp, share everywhere. Help us spread the word. Yes. And just in case you have not yet subscribed to this channel, this is a good time to do so. Subscribe, please, and click that notification button, the bell. Yes, click it so that every single time we upload something, you will be one of the first to know. Finally, if you want to tell us what to do on this channel, as in, some of those extra things that we can use to ginger the swagger. Swagger, whatever. Anyway, yes, leave a comment. And if you really enjoyed the video, leave a comment. And if you feel there's something we should do better, leave a comment. And if you don't even like what I'm saying, leave a comment.